we're now in a boat that's completed. The upholstery pack's been installed in it. One of the things that we do here at Sanger is we don't use a lot of triple stitching in areas where water can be invited down into the cushions. We use what's called a welt, and that covers up that seam so that where the wear pattern is, where your butt is rubbing across that seam constantly, the stitch doesn't get worn out. No matter where you're at, no matter where you see it, that stitch isn't getting rubbed on. And that's one of the things where your back is up against here, it doesn't wear on that stitch and have a tendency to wear that particular stitch out. One of the things you notice in all of our boats is the very thick dual density foam that we use, and makes for a really comfortable, long-lasting boat. If you look at some of our competitors out there, you'll see as small as a 2-inch foam pad compared to a 4-inch foam pad, and you just don't see the depth inside a boat. When you look at the outside of a Sanger, you see a low-profile looking, sleek, sexy boat. So you assume that inside it's the same. But I think if you notice, the depth of this boat is very deep. You've got a lot of depth here. You have good depth here from the floor. We're not sitting on the floor, which some boat companies you'll see that way. And you're not sitting on a booster chair, which some boat companies you sit, like this, where you have no back support whatsoever. So be sure and look inside the boat when you're looking at some of those competitor boats, and make sure that you've got this kind of safety and depth inside the boat. And as the boats get bigger, this is a 215. When you go into a 230 or the 237, even more, you've got so much depth inside the boat, but the exterior of the boat does not look like it's that deep. So you've got to pay attention, and you got to look inside the boat, because that's really important that you see this. I was just looking at one of our competitors the other day, and it was a 23-foot boat, and it had 13 inches of depth in the back seat base. Okay, 13 inches is probably about right there. That was the depth of their back seat, and that boat was a 23-foot boat. Okay, this is a 21-foot boat, and it's probably got 50% more depth in this back seat. It also has a lot of depth in the seat base itself. All boats, all of our V drives, all have ice chests behind the driver's seat. They're all gas shocked and hinged. Everywhere we can make a hinge and connect the cushions, we do. Some cushions you can't do that with, but some you can. There's storage in all of our V drives. This is an example of one of the cushions that you can't put a hinge on because the geometry won't allow you to. You've got a huge storage up in the front of the boat, storage that runs all the way through and all the way through into the back of the boat here, and really makes a big difference when you talk about having to put away your equipment and not having it lay all over the floor.